Hello and welcome to Star Citizen Sunday with me, Ryan aka Sifu Messiah. This is a weekly show which covers everything from the world of Star Citizen over the past week. Links are provided in the description below for everything we talk about in this week's show, so let's get on with it. This week, Chris is back for the first 10 for the Chairman of 2015. We head over to Austin for Around the Verse. The limited ships are back for sale, and Arena Commander 1.0.1 is released. Whew, let's get started. So Chris was back for 10 for the Chairman, this time number 50, which is quite a unique number. Now that we are in the 2015, it's his first 10 for the Chairman, official 10 for the Chairman. And he explained that because there was a lot of new subs over the Christmas period, welcome everyone, they're going to reassess some older questions. So I've included every single question, not just because they are good questions, but because with them being old questions that some of us veteran backers may know about already. So bear with it. If you don't want to hear it, skip to the next post. But it's not all bad because, to be honest, the game is that big that it's easily forgotten some of the features that are available. So it's good to be reminded of them. And to be honest, it re-excites me again to hear all these old questions being asked. Because, again, I've forgotten about these answers. So, starting with question 1. Will there be medals and ranks in Squadron 42 after the completion? Can we frame these medals, badges, or the final rank, and anything else we earn as well, and display them in your home or your hangar? And Chris Roberts says, yes, definitely. You can frame them, like in Wing Commander. And rather than your standard Xbox achievements or your PlayStation 4 trophies, you can get in-fiction rewards. So maybe like a medal display case, and if you earn medals in the PU as well, you can display them there. But also things like mementos. So if if you're in the PU and you travel to a certain area, say Cassell, and you pick up a snow globe for Cassell with a little scene of Cassell in the snow globe, you can then display that in your hangar. A lot like the trophies that we have in the hangar now for certain events, So it's going to be a lot more in touch with what's going on rather than just, hey, pop up, you've earned this. So also, which was not mentioned before, is a bit more of an insider fact about Squadron 42 and how it will work and how it will correlate with the Persistent Universe. Because whereas the majority of us who are really excited for the game will play Squadron 42 and finish it probably way before the PU even comes out, may even play through the Squadron 42 more than once. So there will be others that obviously pick up the Star Citizen after the game has been released, after the PU's released, who will play through Squadron 42 but also want to play in the Persistent Universe at the same time. Now the way this will work is there's going to be a diary for the campaign where whenever you complete things, it'll fill out the diary so you can go back to it and read it, or well, maybe not read it, but you can, basically it's going to refer to sort of past events in your life, whereas the Persistent Universe is now, and you are in that now. When you play through the campaign, you'll pick it up like a diary form as if it's, your memory of what happened to you when you were younger. So it's a really cool way of including it. And again, as you unlock items in the Squadron 42 campaign, they will begin to show up in your hangar or in your house in the Persistent Universe as and when they happen. So that's quite interesting. So the next question, really in depth, was what is the sort of idea, the look, the artistic look and the feel of a jump point? And Chris Roberts got really into this. It's so nice to see such passion from him, because obviously now it is a big job for him and it can be probably weighing down on him stressfully. So it's really good to see him. I'll put up a clip of him being overwhelmed so you can see it. But yeah, so they're researching it now apparently, jump points, and the main thruster's role is for quantum drive. The maneuvering thrusters can move you around, take you forwards, backwards, 6 degrees of motion, anywhere you want, but the main thrusters are there to create the fast travel. Obviously single-seater ships that don't have fast travel, quantum drive or jump drives are not really for this, but so like the Freelancer, you look at it, it's got two big thrusters. They're there to charge up and use fast travel or quantum drive, speed of light speed, and it's only available in a straight line, so it'll be partially skill based. You can use it to escape a battle, and in order to engage your quantum drive, you have to be travelling in that direction for a little while first to allow the engines to power up and engage. So during this time you are vulnerable to attack because you can't dodge, you can't weave, plus the majority of your power will go into your main thrusters, so you won't have full, you may have waylaid some power from your weapons to do this. Someone can break fast travel, your quantum drive, by just getting in front of you, and obviously if you are needing to go forwards in order to engage it, if they're in front of you, you cannot go forwards. So there's a bit of tactics there as well. If you can see someone's powering up to spool off or spooling up to get out of there, you can just jump in front and stop them. So jump point transitions, he said it's like surfing a wave, and they require a lot of skill, or a bit of skill, he says, and for the first time you've got to map them out yourself. But they can can, over time, lose the nav data as it sort of gets stale, and then they'll need to be remapped as well, which, again, could open up some form of job for people who go out specifically to remap these jumps, which is pretty cool. And then also there will be some constantly unstable jumps that will need to be, that'll be really difficult to navigate through. So, next question is, what role will capital ships play in the game? Are they all strictly combat orientated, or can they be used for exploration, mining, or trading? And the answer is sort of self-explanatory to a degree. They can be used for what you like. Obviously, if you have something like a javelin, then you can use that for exploration because it can jump, it can travel, and you can have a lot of friends on board helping you travel. But he does say that the majority of them are mainly focused, and they are brilliant at combat. But for things like mining, he says they're not too sure yet because it'll all be dependent on how much this add-ons or the ship modularity will work. But long term, most likely. He did sort of point out the Retaliator. It's the first multi-crew prototype that can be switched out, so you can switch out your torpedo room for your living, another living quarters or a cargo bay. But yeah, it is dependent on the ship. It's something like a javelin, I don't know. He did mention Adrisses may be able to have like a mining laser. He didn't say it's going to happen, he just says an example. But things like the javelin, which is huge, he's unsure yet. It will all depend on how well it works, basically. So the question after that is, where is the line for theft and reclamation? And the answer is sort of, if you make someone eject, so if you're firing on them to the point where their ship's about to explode, they have to eject and then reclaim it after that, it's obviously theft because you forced them out to be able to get that. If you're also in a group or an organisation and one of your organisation is shooting at a ship and then they fly off while this other person who in the ship has ejected, and then you later on come in and reclaim that ship, then again it's theft because you have ties to that organisation. He said it's not, again, fleshed out properly yet, but it is something they're going to look into because obviously it's quite an important factor in the game. So the next question, which is again a pretty cool question, is detail on the persistent universe trading. Will you be able to make a profit without leaving your ship, or is it going to be more complex and you have to unload your cargo and take it to the shops and sell it yourself personally? So traipsing around the shops, basically. And Chris Robert says that when you land, your cargo is controlled via a manifest and the local commodities broker. So as you saw in the Persistent Universe, he lands, and then this crew, like a loading crew, came along, and they would unload it, and then you would go to the broker and discuss it with him. You would barter on prices, and so on and so forth. He said you won't have to personally unload every crate and then walk around the shops and sort of say, do you want to buy it? Do you want to buy this? It's not going to happen like that. Contraband will, in a certain aspect, because obviously you can't allow it to be seen on the manifest or in your cargo bay, so you'd have to take that off with you, find someone in a back alley or in a pub, and just sell it that way. Maybe have a buyer lined up before you try and pick up some contraband. And also in some cases, which is pretty cool, he says that you will be able to, in remote areas, you'll be able to load cargo into your little rover and drive it like a couple of kilometres to a trading outpost and sell it there, or maybe take some supplies to a base camp. So there's going to be a bit of physical, traipsing around, but it's not going to be, you walk off your ship with a box of items and then have to go to shop to try and sell it. It's going to have lots of different variations of trading. So the next question, a very important question, which has been on my mind a couple of times, is there any plans to sync your Mobiglass to your ship, so you can check your exterior surroundings while you're exploring the interiors of maybe a derelict ship or a space station? And Chris says yes, it'll still be linked to your ship's computer. Not all the functionalities from your ships will be available, but if you think like Kit from Knight Rider, you will have your Nav Map and you can plot courses while you're, exploring the ship or whatever, which is kind of cool because if you find a clue to something you need to search for, then you can load up your Nav Map to search for it. And then when you get back to your ship, you're able to get on with your journey much quicker. He did say there's likely to be an alarm on the ship, so if, someone's boarding, the alarm will sound. But something he mentioned during this question was that today, or whatever day he recorded it, he did see a prototype of a ship and a man in a ship decompressurizing the cockpit, EVAing out into a derelict ship and going inside and seeing what happened, getting onto the ship's log, and then in the background a Vandal came in and attacked and he had to rush back to the ship to get out of there, or to fight back. He said it was really cool, and again, hopefully we shall see something of that soon if it looks good enough to show us, hopefully. But if you don't know, Arena Commander is the test bed, and they will add scenarios, co-op scenarios and single player scenarios to allow us to play it and flesh out whether or not how well it works, QA testing and all this. And he says it'll be sort of post 1.0, which is obvious because we are past that now, but pre 2.0. So those sort of missions hopefully will come in, or those scenarios will come in for us before we get the multi-crew ships and we can try them out. So the next question, will there be tiered factions or governmental organisations with career opportunities within them? And Chris Roberts says, yes, definitely. The government organisations are generally NPC versions of player organisations, which we have access to now. They are expecting a big update for the organisations, which will allow us to pay people, to collect money from people, to manage jobs, manage your crew, lots more as well. The Persistent Universe guilds, so like your merchants guilds and your mercenaries guilds, will be built in the same way, and you can take missions from them just like you would, you know, from your organisation, your player run organisations. But also, you may have to be a member of those guilds in order to take those missions. So if you're a mercenary and you're a member of the mercenaries guild, then you will have access to these missions. If you're not, you will have to obviously join up or do some sort of, I don't know, however you would enroll in it. So it keeps it interesting for people who have got military backgrounds and pirate backgrounds, because they won't have all the jobs available to them. So the next question is, will there be other currencies for the alien races that we have seen, and will we need exchange offices to change your money over? And Chris says that yes, there's definitely going to be currencies, different currencies, but it will be sort of auto-exchanged. There will be an exchange rate, so much Banu, 25,000 Banu, maybe just 10 UEC credits. We don't know. It's however they do it, they'll do it. But long term, he says that there may be an option to have different currencies in your pocket in a way, but as of yet, no. And to be honest, I don't see any need for it. I would have thought in the future, 900 years in the future, you'll just have one card which has all your currency on, or maybe two, you know, all eggs in one basket type idea, and then you would just use that card, top it up when you want from your account, and then it'll automatically exchange the currency. So, question after that, will rovers have limitations to areas due to power, fuel, and, you know, map barriers, and can they be destroyed? And yes, rovers, the little vehicles, rovers are these little vehicles that come in the Carrack or in your Aquila, your Constellation Aquila, that you can, when you land planetside, you can use to drive around and explore. And they will, all of that, they'll have power. They are basically, he said it's basically a ship. It's done exactly the same as a ship, but it's a land vehicle. So you'll have power, you'll have fuel, everything that the ships have, it'll have the same add-ons and so forth to these rovers within reason. But yeah, and they don't, the current system, because the maps are not infinite at the moment, they're sort of 16 to 20 to maybe even 30 kilometers squared, depending on, you know, how much there is going on inside them. So they're going to use mountain ranges to stop you from going any further. So hopefully the tech will come out, because there are certain games like Altera where they procedurally generate a full planet for you to explore, but these planets do not carry any persistence. I don't think so anyway, so if you build something, they will not stay. So hopefully they will look into this and create something that will have much bigger maps, or procedurally generated maps where, I mean, they are doing, aren't they? So hopefully there won't be any limitations, but for now that's how it's going to work. And yes, rovers can be destroyed and blown up just like any ship can. So the final question is, can you pay UEC credits or UE credits to fast track a ship manufacturer if your ship has been destroyed? So if it gets blown up, can you pay? Because obviously, if you don't know, your ships are going to be manufactured sort of throughout the economy. So if you have a rare ship and it explodes and blows up, then you will have to wait longer for that ship to be manufactured. And again, with big ships as well, it'll take a lot longer. If you're an Aurora owner like myself and your ship gets blown up, there will probably already be one laying around somewhere that you can then take on and claim as your own, or be insured to your payout sort of thing. He did say it's still early yet, so they've still got to flesh that out, but it is all supply and demand of, you know, the ships. But he does see that this will be a good sort of penalty, so you will take care of your ships, because especially if you have a rare one, you don't want to go flying off into combat and then have it destroyed to wait another however long they decide for it to be created. Anyway, that's 10 for the chairman. Let me know your thoughts. Okay, so the next post is the Around the Verse number 28, which happened on Thursday, and they were reporting from the Austin, Texas studio this time, and it was Ben Lesnick, as always, but this time it was Pete Mackey, who was actually the weatherman during the Wingman's Hangar episodes, which was the show, well, Around the Verse succeeded Wingman's Hangar with Eric Peterson. So Austin is where they are developing the Persistent Universe, and they've come over there because of the PAX Town Hall, which is happening on Friday, I believe it was. Or it happened on Friday, should I say, as today is obviously Sunday. Anyway, they first started off by telling us about the physical items, or the second wave of physical items. Because they stopped them so quickly, they didn't really give people a chance to buy them. So what they're doing doing is they've put them all up available to purchase again now until the 1st of February. So if there's anything you're really interested or really wanted to get and you never had a chance, check them out quick because they won't be there much longer. So, news from around the verse, starting with Arena Commander. The Retaliator multi-crew prototype is being set up, and Chris was in UK last week or the week before, and he is saying that the Retaliator is looking really cool. Hopefully, he did. Ben said we might get to see it soon. They're testing out the capital ship systems on it, and it is the first multi-crew ship that they're testing out as well. It should be awesome, and I cannot wait. So, the AI behaviour is being updated to support wingman commands. Now, I can only assume this is relating to Vandal Swarm single player, where they liked it to Wing Commander, where if you hit C, it brought up a list of options to give your wingman commands on what to do. It is going to be a modern version of that. Obviously, it's not going to be the same thing. It may have been a bit clumsy, but they'll have like a Star Citizen version of it, so it should be really good. And hopefully, we'll be able to control our wingmen. I can't remember the names of them, but hopefully, we'll be able to have full control of them and send them off to target each different ship as we want them to. So, they're also refining all the ship's ejection systems. Now, when they first designed these ships years ago, or two years ago, I think 3 years ago, 2012 it first started, wasn't it? They didn't all have ejection systems, and now they are obviously needing them. The Aurora doesn't have one. I don't know if they're going to put one in. The idea of getting out of the Aurora is to basically get out of your chair, run to the airlock, and then jump out, which could take forever because you've got to decompressurize the cabin, and so you've got to make sure you get your EVA suit on, which I suppose you would do, but it's a lot of effort and time if you're about to explode. So hopefully they may put one in the Aurora. So Squadron 42, the mocap and PCAP, whatever PCAP is, someone please tell me what that means, sessions have been planned and scheduled, and Chris is actually directing this. If you don't know, he's been a producer as well after he made certain games like Wing Commander and stuff. He had a break from gaming and he became a producer on a lot of films. Lucky Number 11 was one, and there was another space one which I can't remember, and it's a really, really good film. Outlander, that's it. I really enjoyed that film. But yeah, he was a producer, so he has a big idea of how the film industry works. So when it comes to mocaps and things like that, he'll have a good handle on how it should work. And obviously it's his idea anyway. So landing polish is ongoing, and this seems to be going on forever. Obviously there's a lot of landing going on in Squadron 42 and the Persistent Universe, so they need to make it right. I really hope we get to see that soon, because it's been probably over a year we've been hearing about how the landing is coming together. You know, you've got manual and automatic landing. I really want to see what it looks like, to be honest. So hopefully we'll get to see that soon. So Persistent Universe, prop concepts are entering phase 1, and this is happening in Austin. I'll show you a little clip of some chairs that they showed, you know, different chairs to use, and they're basically making lists of items to be placed around the environment, but it is huge, a huge list. Apparently one of the girls who was working there, I think her name was Megan, has created a list of 50, or a concept of 50 different shoes. There's going to be so much to do, and they are just going to fill the place. It's a lot of games, you know, things like DayZ, which is understandable, don't have props in the houses as much as they could do, as much as a realistic house would. So hopefully with Star Citizen being as in depth as it is, it'll have these props, which will make it feel more realistic and more, you know, more at home if you can buy these things and fill up your own space. Anyway, the Mobiglass Mission Manager has received updates. As you probably know, the Mobiglass is the 900-year equivalent of a mobile phone. It attaches to your arm, and the people who are creating this, I want to say Behaviour in Canada, I could be wrong, but they are creating a full operating system for this. Like obviously you got iOS or Android, they're creating a full operating system which will have apps. You can download different apps like shopping apps, scheduler, maps, all these different things like a diary or something along those lines. And apparently in a week and a half we shall see a proper design post. This could have something to do with, you know, the stretch goals that we see, or it could just be a complete design post which will tell you all about what they've done, what we can see. I'm really looking forward to this. It's going to be, he didn't say next week, he said it's sort of the week after. We get to see exactly what's happening with the Mobiglass, which, I mean, we're going to use it a lot in the Persistent Universe. It's going to be like your phone is, you know, you're going to be lost without it, really. So, Relay Station concept has continued work. Now, this is, Ben says, another space station to populate the Persistent Universe. I think the relay stations are how messages will be sent between jump points and so forth, because they'll have to travel a hell of a lot of distance, so I suppose getting the message through a jump point would make complete sense. Could be wrong, but that's my opinion. So, ships. Bulldog has entered concept phase, and this is the heavy fighter. It was a fan-voted one during one of the stretch goals. It's being designed by Germac, who concepted with someone else. Can't remember his name, I do apologise. The Karak, which we all know and love. So, the Orion concept is now in white boxing phase. Now, the Orion is a mining platform and is one of my most anticipated ships, because I'd love to be able to just live and work doing some mining off in the middle of nowhere with this huge platform ship that's got floodlights all over, saddlebags to store all your unrefined or refined minerals that you've mined. It's a really exciting ship, and it's been designed by a guy called George Hull, who is responsible for the Reclaimer. And again, Reclaimer is one of my top ships, so I'm really looking forward to seeing what he's done with it. He is definitely a very talented artist. Bearing ballistic weapon has entered concept phase. Now, we know Bearing have a couple of laser weapons, I think the M3 and the M5. So it looks like they're venturing into the ballistic side of things, and Ben did mention here that when 1.0.1, which actually today is Friday, I tell a lie, it's not Sunday, and 1.0.1 has been released. I'm going to play it after I've recorded this, and he did say that there should be a couple more weapons entered, and I can tell you there already is. There's even a handgun that you can buy, so check it out quick. So over to the FPS studio, and limb damage penalties are finished and implemented. So I'll try and put a link into a post that was put up a while ago called The Health of a Spaceman. Now, if you missed it, check it out. It tells you all about how we're going to be healing, you know, how if you take damage as a character, as a person, rather than in your ship, or even in your ship you can take damage from, I suppose, things going off and exploding. You will receive damage to certain areas of your body, and I believe these limb damage penalties will be if you get damage to your arm, you won't be able to use your arm, you'll limp if you get damage to your leg. So I think it would relate to that. Check out the post, it's definitely worth reading. It was one of the better posts that we have had, and it tells you all about how you can heal other members. So, reloading animations while crouch have been added, and Ben just said it's amazing how many animations there are that are needed within this game, and yeah, I suppose every little thing needs to be animated, so it all makes sense. Third person zero gravity or zero G movement is being tweaked. Now, the zero G, they say it's not just bodies floating around, it is really in depth, and by the sounds of things, you know, you've got jetpacks, mag boots, all these things. You even grab hold of the environment to pull yourself through. It is going to be a really, really in-depth zero G, and they said they want to make it better than anyone else has done before, so whatever you've got in your mind as to how it may be, it's going to be better. So, bug smashers, and today Mark Bent talks about how the buggy, you know, your little grey cat buggy, if you run up to it and bump into it, it starts jittering around, and it doesn't stop. It just keeps bouncing up and down and moving forwards, and he's basically explaining how he controls that and stops it from happening. So then moving on to the most valuable post, and it is from a General Jack O'Neill, who has, it's hard to explain. He's got, if you were part of an organisation, or if you have an organisation, you can put a poster up on his post, new or old organisation, so any new or old backer can actually scroll through and find all these different organisations, and if you see, you know, a poster that you like, check them out and sign on. And that's, you know, I just want to say, if there is an organisation you want to join, go ahead and join it. Just apply and see if you can get signed up. I will be posting one, a little snippet or an introduction to our organisation, the one I am a member of. We are only looking for around 20 people, so it's going to be quite limited. But I'll do a post on that soon, so if you are interested in joining it, you can head over there and apply. It won't be me doing the interviews though, but it's worth checking out if you are interested in it. So the interview is with John Erskine, who is the Austin studio head, and he is answering questions from the community, so if you want to know what he has to say, check him out. And the sneak peek, finally, is a really cool character animations. It's a bit weird. I did feel a little freaked out and a little uncomfortable, but it is a really, really interesting post, and if the characters move like this, if every character in the game is moving like this, it is going to be one hell of a realistic game, because this is the best I've seen of character animations, other than maybe Grand Theft Auto, because they have a really good character movements with their designs. But yeah, it looks like it's going to be really, really good, really in depth. So yeah, you've seen it. I'll hopefully timed it right and put it up now. Anyway, that's it for Around the Verse. Let's get on to the next post. So it's been a very busy week in the world of Star Citizen. There's been a post about VAT. Now, if you live in the European Union, as of the 1st of February, because Star Citizen have opened a branch in the UK, a publishing branch, whenever someone from the European Union buys anything on their website, be it digital or physical, they now have to charge VAT, which is a bit of a bummer. It definitely sucks. But it also, with them having this branch in the UK, I know I know Squadron 42 is being produced in the UK, but it is still classed as a European branch rather than an actual UK branch, and something like this, because it's in the UK, it does actually help them be closer to us, be closer to the European community, and a better customer service as well. Because of this, they are unfortunately having to charge us VAT, which is now I think 20%, which is a complete bummer, but it's how it is. So if you want to know more about it, if you want to see what the post they put up, all the links are in the description anyway, so anything you want to find, it's in the description. Take a read of it if it affects you. If you're out of the EU, then you're alright, but it's definitely worth checking out if you're in it. So there was a new Meet the Devs, the CIG devs, and it was Lance Powell, who is the art director. He was answering questions about himself. Very interesting if you want to check it out, again in the description. There was a new post called the Aramis Post the Cargo Olympics Return. Now this is a really unusual post. Again, it's an in-fiction story or history where there's a competition, like an Olympic Games, for cargo stacking or taking things from point A to point B. It's basically a way, it started off about 15 years ago, they say, and it's a competition between certain places and certain groups where they all try and beat each other in transporting cargo. Really unusual. Again, as I say, it's the 15th year, and apparently they have 200,000 spectators and 1 million people viewing it on TV at any one time, during the Olympics. So it's kind of interesting because it does give us a little insight into what we can expect from the world. We know there's going to be esports like Sarta ball, racing, and all these sort of ideas. So I wonder if this is something we can all take part in, or even just meet up as friends and watch it, like actually happening. Really, really cool. So check that post out. It's not a long post. It's not a great read, or a long read, but it's definitely worth reading if you want to hear any little snippets or facts that could be lying in there that we don't know about yet. So there was a new fan spotlight, which is called In Fiction Creations, and there's a link in the description. Some of these really cool things that the backers and the fans have actually made themselves. There was Space Globes released. Now, this is something that they've mentioned before about Space Globes, where instead of getting achievements like your traditional Xbox or PlayStation 4 achievements, you get mementos. So you could travel to a certain area, pick up a snow globe as, a little memento for that area, and depending on who you are, I think if you're a backer, you get 1. If you're a subscriber to a certain point, you get 2, and if you're a Centurion or an Emperor, or whatever the other one, the one who pays the most, you'll get all 3. I've showed you I found them. It took me ages to find them. I was wandering around the hangar for ages, and then I went upstairs, and they're actually upstairs in the Southland hangar anyway, and they're really cool because they're animated. You click on them, and it'll play a little animation over and over again. Definitely worth looking at. If you want to see what they look like, if you haven't yet, check out my Gladius review, which was probably the video before the last one, and it's right at the end. So there was a post in regards to the Voyager Direct update. Now, as Ben mentioned in Around the Verse, there was 2 new weapons being added, and in my head it was just 2 weapons you fix onto your ship, but we're wrong. I was wrong. It's an awesome handgun called the Gemini LH86. Now, this is your kinetic handgun, like a ballistic one. Look at the picture. They are so cool, and I definitely will be picking one of these bad boys up. There was also a Broaden Razy, I want to say, N4-160F, which is a turret system for your Hornet series, so you can stick on a nice couple of guns and go and dominate the battlefield again. There was also lots and lots of Grey Cat skins. Now, Grey Cats are your buggy, and you can have anything from rifle green to cherry red. And if you are wondering how to put these skins on, you go into your holo table in your hangar, select your Grey Cat, which has now been added to that, and then you go all the way to the end and choose skins, and it'll give you the available skins that you have purchased to swap in and out. So if you're bored of the colour, I think it's white at the moment, isn't it? You can go in and swap them out. So again, due to the VAT change coming on the February the 1st, backers can now pick up limited ships again, which is pretty much why we have reached the $70 million stretch goal, which is insane, and we are already halfway to the 71 million. I think it's at 7.4 as I'm recording this. That is incredible. So you can pick up things like the Banu Merchantman, the Aegis Retaliator, and the Misk Starfarer, and that's just 3 out of God knows, there looks like there will be about 20 ships there. Plus you can do all your upgrading and so forth. So if you are interested in buying a new ship or upgrading your current ship, check it out and see which ones you prefer. So there was a new trailer released, the Arena Commander 1.0 trailer, which is the first iteration of Arena Commander, you know, the main push. I'll play it again now. I've probably used it already during this video, but it is such a cool trailer, so I'll put it on. I'm sure you won't mind. But it also ties in with the 1.0.1 release of Arena Commander. Now, I'm not going to go into too much detail about it now, as I will do a separate video explaining, you know, how everything works, what's new, what's fixed, and so on and so forth. But just a quick update, missiles have fuel now, so they'll run out of fuel if they do not hit their target within a certain time. And they'll also show up on the radar, so it'll help you see where they're coming from. Also, there's been a lot of UI updates and a lot of fixes. So, as I say, well, there's a link in the description for you to check out that post, but I will do a full video, so stay posted. So, also, as you probably know, there's been PAX South, which has been happening in San Antonio, Texas, and Star Citizen have held a town hall there. There is a clip of going through a jump point, which I shall show you now, but also there was a lot of panels where you could answer questions, ask and answer questions, and there's a gent in the comments called Marlon Zelaya who has allowed me access to his videos. But instead of showing them myself, what I'll do is I'll put a link in the description below to his YouTube channel, which has a lot of the panels, probably all of them, I'm not sure how many there was, but all of the town hall panels with Chris Roberts. So go there, check them out. I will myself, I haven't had time yet, but I'll definitely check them out and see what happened there. Thank you very much, Marlon. So, it's competition time again, and this week we were giving away the Mustang Beta package. Again, thank you to Robert, who is a subscriber who has allowed us to do these giveaways. But yeah, so, let's have another drum roll, and the winner is Judd Roy, who says, I'd like to visit the Nick system with a group of people and possibly come out of there with some high value stuff, and also to see how dangerous it is. So thank you, Roy, you are the winner of the Mustang Beta package. Now, as always, there's been some amazing answers, and the best part of my day is literally waking up, sitting at my computer and just reading all these different answers. I don't reply to them because I don't want to show any bias, but thank you all for posting. Now, as you know, there will be another giveaway next week, which is the Mustang Delta. Again, Robert has now, thank you, he's purchased the Mustang Delta, now they are available again, and it is the sort of military-esque type ship, which is fully armoured, fully kitted out for air-to-air or space-to-space combat. So, to enter this competition, you need to be a subscriber, naturally, and also follow us on Twitter. Now, our Twitter handle is @SuperMacBrother, without the S on the end, because we ran out of bloody characters. The link is in the description, so follow us on there, and we shall choose someone from our Twitter followers. But as always, please keep the comments coming. If you've got anything to say about what's been happening in the world of Star Citizen, please tell me. I try to respond to everybody, as it's just as much fun for me hearing your thoughts as it is probably for you hearing my thoughts. So keep those comments coming, and best of luck. So that's it for this week's Star Citizen Sunday. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more Star Citizen content. Like the video if you will. Comment if you've got anything at all to say. Share it if you can, and I shall see you in the verse.